I am so excited to bring this series to you guys. Over the next 30 days, I plan to give you some ideas for clean and simple Christmas cards you can make now in time for Christmas. This series is about making cards from things in your stash, things that are quick to make, things that you can batch make, and by the end of the 30 days, you will have some lovely cards to send to your friends and family. Stay tuned for card 1. For card 1 in this series, we are going to start simple. Clean and simple cards are a combination of things, really. Any of these definitions will work. They should be perhaps a 1-layer card. They should use minimal supplies. There should be some white space. All of those things are what I think of when I think of a clean and simple card. And at Christmas, if we're batch making, we want our cards to be super quick. We want them to be super simple. I'm using this nesting star die set that I had when I was working on a commission for one of the magazines. I forget which one now. And I'm using a smallish star from that set. But to start with, my card bases, I've used scraps from an A4 sheet when I was cutting down pages for my recent album that I made for the Woolly Steph Art Club. And so my card bases here are 4 inches by not quite 6. It's about 11. About 5 3/4 inches. Okay, and for this card I'm using 300 GSM Super Smooth. I don't know what it's like throwing water at it, watercolor, but what we're going to do, I am so in love with my granulating watercolors, as if you've been following me for a while you will know. Now if you don't have these, there are lots of things that you could use instead. You could use just any watercolor that you have. You could use your inks and turn them into a watercolor, just mixing a bit of the blue and the violet together to get a really nice deep color. And I'm just going to roughly just do like a squiggle pattern on the right hand side of my page, coming with a little bit more, maybe here. And I'm going to set that aside to dry. I might add a little bit more colour, and we'll see how that kind of works in a little while. And I'm going to just die cut my star. I decided that this was the size that would work well with the card base that I've got. And you know, I think I might actually just add a little bit more colour going across the page. Could maybe have done with a like that, a bit more at the top and at the bottom. That is it. You can be as messy or as neat as you want. Just set my brush on some paper there. So I'm using my little sidekick. I'm sorry if I rock you. Of course, what you could do with the piece from this is make it into a little stencil. And in fact, I will do that on another piece of card, and we'll use that in another card later on in the series, perhaps. So I'm using scraps of the same weight card and the same colour card just for cohesion. And there is my little star. I do like how you get a little edge round the edge. Oh, look, see, that looks really nice. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a foam pad on the back of this, but I'm mindful of the cost of postage, so I'm not going to do that in this instance. We'll come back in a little while when this is completely dry. So it's a little while later now, and this is dry. If you're worried about the card warping where you've had water, this is super smooth and it is more designed for stamping on and blending than watercolour. You could put it under a book when you've done everything. Before I stick my star down, because I want my star to be completely white, I want to just put some paint splatters. So I'm just going to And that's all I'm going to do. Less is more. We're doing clean and simple. Let me just wipe that up. I don't need my paint anymore, so I can get rid of my paint as well. As I say, if you don't have these granulating watercolours, just use any watercolour or whatever ink. Swipe it on an acrylic block or on your mat, and Bob is your uncle. In fact, he is. I do have an Uncle Bob. So, might have gone a little bit heavy there, but hey ho. So I'm going to bring in my little star now and pray that my glue works. I've had a bit of an issue with my glue getting bunged up. Just going to stick it down. So I'm excited for this series. Now, I like this star that way, like so. And I do like that little paint splatter there. I'm not the best at paint splatters, you know, guys, but it is what it is. Now, do I want to blot this? This is the question. This is the question. I am going to blot it, which might smudge it. But it just lifts that colour a little bit and ensures that my card is dry. Now I'm going to add a little stamped sentiment, and I'm going to use Versifying Clair Twilight, which is a dark blue, because I've got dark blue going on here. Let's just pop my card here. Use sticky grid if you have it on your stamp platform. I'll stick that down. And then I'm using one of these sentiments from this little set from Julie Hickey, designed by Hazel Eaton, and I think I'm going to just have Season's Greetings down here under this line, using that kind of line as a guide, if you like. Actually, so I think I might, oh, shall I have it there or shall I have it here? This is where I was a little bit heavy with the paint splatters. I think we will have it here. Or shall I have it in there like that? Yes, I think I'm going to have it like that. And obviously I've gone for this blue, but you could go for whatever colour you like. Green is festive. Gold would be quite nice. Red, of course, is also festive. There's something about this shade of blue at Christmas that I really like. There we go. Got a lovely little sentiment on there. Now, if you're batch making these, what I would suggest you do, and if you didn't want it to be a one layer card, you could cut yourself a little piece and do all your watercolouring. But I would do all my watercolouring in one go and let that dry. And then while that's drying, you can cut out all of your stars. And then you can stamp your sentiments, and then you can do what I'm going to do now, which is add a little tiny bit of bling, because Christmas for me is all about bling. I'm going to try and find my little tweezers, and it's good to have things in threes. Use whatever little gems you've got. I'm using these that have been in my stash for the longest time. That one's gone a little bit dull. I do like this one here. Yes, okay, so I'm going to put just a little smidge of glue here. Use my tweezers to pick up one of these gems. Make sure it's the right way up. Pop it there. Another little blob of glue here. Let's pop you on there. And then when you're arranging your elements, triangles is good. So I'm going to have one just at the top here. I'll go for this one. Cat-handed. Don't know, I've got a bit of glue on my tweezers. So there we go. There is our first clean and simple Christmas card. Do comment down below, let me know what you think. Will you be giving this a go? Come back tomorrow for card number 2.